Of course, when somebody like buys something, you wanna encourage them to like maybe be excited about their purchase. You can offer something else, but I would usually go with more like just making them excited and maybe following up in a few days, giving them some update about their orders. The first thing that I love doing is basically when you know that their order is gonna get this day, send them some shipping updates, so that they actually see the importance of SMS, because like we all know that how much we love when we get an SMS that something is coming and then you're going out and waiting for your order. So it's pretty cool.
Hey, this is where I talk to the best drivers of the direct-to-consumer industry, like founders, investors, marketers, CROs, agencies, and dwell into strategies that they've been using to build some great D2C businesses. Let's go on the D2C drive. I'm your host, Ashish Ramamurthy. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Ashish, dialing in from the D2C Drive podcast. We have talked a lot about how e-commerce brands have grown. You guys have heard from me and other people through the previous episodes. Everybody has talked around omni-channel marketing, about their own journeys and struggles of growing an e-commerce business. And we also touched upon a lot around the retention space with Daniel Bodai, Adam Kitchen, and all of that. But today, I am dabbling on this interesting topic around SMS marketing, SMS retention. So this is going to be a really focused podcast where if trying to, grow your SMS base, if you're trying to help make sure that all of your people who are subscribed to your SMSs agree with you, engage with you, buy from you, this is the podcast that you need to refer to. Right, so today I have with me Iveta. She, is from Hustler Marketing, right? So these guys have been there from 2018, doing a bunch of stuff around the email marketing, retention space, amazing case studies. You got to check out the brands that they've grown. It's really amazing. Go check them out at hustlermarketing.com and see what they've got on the table. So Iveta, what's been going on in your at Hustler Marketing from the last year?
Oh, quite a lot of exciting stuff actually. Like we've been working on SMS, and actually I was trying to spread the word for quite a while on like basically breaking stigma around SMS, because when people hear about SMS they think it's a bit boring and old school. Wow, it's actually very, very cool. So I hope by the end of this podcast, people also think about that in the same way. But yeah, for me, about to like SMS, now even jumping into ad creatives and ads. So it's been very exciting here in marketing.
Sounds good. So again, just pointing out, guys, the topic for today is how to use SMS to engage your customers and bring in more revenue. So let's start off, right? So first of all, how do you go about building your first SMS list? How does somebody start with that?
Yeah, this is the basics. And by the way, here, I think it's very important for people to start growing their list, even if they're not going to send SMS straight away. Like it's very simple. You just need a few opt-in methods. One, of course, in the checkout. It's very important when it comes to SMS that you want to be compliant. You want to make sure that like everything is clear, nothing is pre-selected, like people know what they're subscribing for. So one at checkout, one pop-up. It can actually be the same pop-up as for email, just maybe you add up an extra incentive. So let's say you're usually giving them 10% off, and maybe on the second step you tell them, if you want to join our X club and get like some more updates, like special offers, hear from us in a more personal way, like you're gonna get 15% off as a like welcome gift from us, and then only these people that want to be there, they subscribe. So this is like two channels that are very easy to already add to your strategy and just go from there. There are some very cool methods, like even you can like add to your packaging, maybe a QR code where they can just like take the camera and already go into your SMS list. So there are some other tactics like that you can add, but very first two things that you should do is like check out pop-up.
So just to like break the stigma or this confusion in the community, do you need email? Do you need SMS? Do you need both? How do you why is each channel needed?
Yeah.
If you're sending the same automations, why is it needed? Why do you have to do both or why do you have to do one? Like there's been this confusion across.
This is a very good question, and thank you for asking that. So actually, what a lot of people think is that email and SMS is completely the same, and it's actually, if you think of the nature of the message itself, like you would realize that the people who want to receive text messages are completely different from the ones that want to engage with email. Because emails are long, they explain a lot of things. Like you can engage whenever you want with them. Well, SMS is something super personal, and you would usually only share it with the brands that you really care about, because you wouldn't want like random people texting you at random times that you don't feel comfortable. You're not gonna give your phone number to a random person outside. So why would you give it to a brand that you don't care about? So that's why it's very different. And actually, you usually don't send like the same type of things. Of course, the automations and all these things they have the same structure, but the way you approach your text marketing like subscribers, it's much more personal because they show that they care for your brand more. So you want to appreciate that in them.
Who often usually subscribe to an SMS list? Is it your first time buyers, anonymous buyers, or loyal buyers?
It's usually everyone. Like it can be a first time buyer. It's more about the people, and if like they already like SMS, especially in the States. Yeah, like people know if they like to receive SMS, and because they know it's direct, it's gonna be on top of their phone. So if they already like this type of like marketing, it wouldn't matter if they are just seeing the brand, because you can know that you love a brand even by seeing it once. So.
Right. What are some of the benchmarks that you have seen when it comes to the adoption of SMS, when it comes to interacting with your brand from the last 2, 3 years? Like, is there any benchmarks?
Benchmarks in terms of
Open rates, click rates, buyer conversion, anything across, in the e-commerce space.
so open rates, like this is not something that we can track on SMS at this point, unfortunately. But we know that a lot of people do open their SMSs because, of course, it pops up on top of your phone, and then you have the red notifications that is there. In terms of click rates and everything, it actually very much depends on like each like niche and also each flow and everything. Because you can have a cart abandon. Usually, you have the highest click rate on cart abandon, like automations, on welcome automations, of course. It does make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very much depends on a niche to niche basis. So I would recommend, like, if people are in a specific niche, just to research on their own, because there is a lot of data online for that.
Yeah. I think we can touch upon more on different customer journeys and how do you keep them warm.
Yeah.
Later on, but iOS 16, pretty much happened last year. The whole ecosystem has been talking about how iOS 16 has impacted SMS because, hey, okay, one is obviously Apple privacy issues. Two, that whole thing about promotions to, all transactions and that segregation that people want as consumers. It's fine as a consumer, but as a marketer, it gets hard and hard to reach out to these guys. So, what is some of the impact that iOS 16 has driven, and what are some of the things that you're seeing or you're implementing yourself to crack SMS marketing post iOS 16?
Yeah, so something that I think is very important that people like pay special attention to is like when you start messaging somebody, you can, like, in the first messages, you can incentivize them to add your number to their contact cards. And once they add you to their contacts, it's fine. Like you shouldn't worry about them not getting your messages. It's just very important that now, as marketers, we start communicating that to our customers. So basically, they would understand that if they don't add us to their contacts, there is a high chance that they miss something out that they would want to get from us. And this is very important, especially at the beginning of the journey. But even now, you can maybe add it a bit later in the journey so that these people know, hey, by any chance, you might not be getting some of our, messages that are specific for you, towards your needs. So add us to your contacts to make sure that you're getting everything. That's pretty much the way you can make sure that everything is fine. So you just need to build this trust, for them to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, nurture them, build trust so that they recognize you better, and then, send in stuff they love. I mean, that stuff people love is so different, right? Some of them can be discounts, some of them that can be these redeem points, some of them can be, even invite to a pop-up event which is happening around them. So it's very personal, to every people. And emails, I mean, like, how many of us really open our emails? Like there's so many emails which come, right? It's tough to do that, but SMS has a chance around that coming in. So yeah, I agree with you. When you pointed out like this whole personalization is more important when it comes to text, right? So you guys have been like implementing strategies for a lot of people and brands and all that. So what are some of the learnings that a brand approached you and you're like, okay, here is what we do, here is our framework, here is how we solve this. Would love to know what is that first. Second, what are some of the things that which is given you a shock in terms of, okay, this is something that we learned today by doing this to a brand. Would love to know some nuggets around that.
There are two types of like situations that you go in. There is first, like there are a lot of people that are not in the SMS space, so there is the situation where brand is just starting and then you have a lot of potential. But there is also the situation when brand is already doing that, but you can add on that. So I'm gonna start with like the case where like it's a brand new and they weren't collecting proper like numbers, so they basically had to start from zero. So in that case, we always make sure that we implement a few things. Like first of all, we add the five most basic flows, which is welcome, cart abandon, browse abandon, post purchase, and win back. As of course, win back and post purchase starts, generating results in a while, but welcome and cart abandon, browse abandon, they just like hit the roof immediately. So it's just very important to have that. After that, like we usually wait for a while, to gather some data and basically collect some subscribers. And usually around the 500 people benchmark, we start already sending campaigns. We start with 2-3 a month, going up to like 6-8. Usually for big brands, even more like brands like ones that I said were doing SMS before. We even send slightly more. But yeah, we also don't want to overdo it because it's much more personal channel of communication. And even if you send more, you can be much more selective on who do you send to, because some people might want to get it twice, some people might want to get it 10 times. You never know. So yeah, first of all, we make sure that we have these things. We have, of course, like opt-in methods. As I said, like at least first 2 or 3 methods should be there. And yeah, after that, what we start doing in a while, and it's something that is very important, is this personalization. And this is something that we usually, when there is a brand that's been clean for a while, like for example, Blendjet, they were doing like SMS for so long, they were great at that. But there is some there is a lot of these personalizations that needs to be done. And for example, you go into a flow and you start thinking like, how do we make sure that these people that are in the flow don't experience the same thing over and over again? Because we want maybe the second time purchasers to get another treatment, or maybe when they're browsing other products. Because for example, brands like this, they do have very different products. They have a portable blender, but they also do have smoothies that you can make, or maybe they also have accessories. And it doesn't make sense to treat these journeys in the same way. So once you have the data in, you go in and you start personalizing journeys. You also start A/B testing, maybe offers, maybe what makes your customers engage. What is also something very cool that we love doing is we ask people questions. We use conversational messaging. So basically, like for example, in welcome flow, we can already ask them like, what are you looking for? Are you buying for somebody, like for example, a brand of like custom portraits? Like we can ask, what are you buying for? Are you buying for your girlfriend, maybe for a boyfriend, maybe maybe you're buying for yourself. So by that time, we already know who they're looking for, and we send them directly to the page where they might need to go. Or even better, we can even go like if we have like one product, maybe Blendjet, we ask them what color of Blendjet do you want, and we show it over the GIF, with each color, and then they can say what color they want, and we just send them a click to buy link where they just go to the checkout with the apply discount, and then they buy. So this is the power of personalization that people do need in SMS, and they don't even realize it's there. It's pretty cool if you use it right. So yeah. And on the shocking angle, I think what shocks me is like how quickly SMS is developing. And that's what I said at the beginning. People think SMS is boring because they think of these annoying long messages full of emojis, all caps, spammy type of things. But as I said, like right now, there are things like click to buy where you just get a link and you go directly to checkout. Like, how cool is that? Like, you don't need to do anything else. Like, all the distractions, or even text to buy in the States. Like, you can text if somebody is already a subscriber and has bought. If you send them like a message and they can just reply buy, they get a confirmation, they confirm, and that's it. Like, you don't even need to go out. So, yeah.
It's pretty amazing. That's like taking like things so simple and more conversions coming out of that. What kind of campaigns like really work when it comes to people, buying from an SMS? Because everybody knows this discount thing, like everybody can do it, right? Like it's not something new. But what are some of the other innovative campaigns that you have seen work, to convert a buyer, especially after conversations, or especially when anything day is coming up and there is a new campaign which is run up across, and how do you involve your subscribers also to be part of that campaign and buy, share what you do, along with enable people to buy.
Yeah. So they're like usually it's kind of similar, to email, but again in much shorter form. So for example, it can be like ways to use the product in some way. For example, it can be some recipes, for a portable blender. It does make sense. Like you just make it short, nice. Maybe you can even send them to upload from there. But these people know, like maybe they see a gift of something that sounds very delicious. They might want to click there, and make this shake today. You can send them, any new launches, because usually all the brands do have like some exciting things happening on their front, like maybe a new product coming in. Something that's very cool with SMS, and I think it's important that people do it, is whenever you have something, you really treat them like the people like more special. So basically, you can give them early access to some things, but like not the fake early access, the real early access, because that's actually a way to treat them nicely. Also, like what I mentioned with asking them questions, the more questions you ask them in your flows, the more you can use this data. For example, let's say you're selling clothes for kids, and if you, like when somebody first bought, they bought for like a baby that's up to 6 months. So that 6 months passed, so you can just text them, hey, we just got these new pajamas for your baby boy that's now 11 months old. Like this cool personalization that somebody's gonna be like, wow, how do you know that? You really pay attention to what I'm saying. So you know these things, and you can really use them to send to specific people, and just showing that you know what they need. For clothes, again, you can know their sizes. Maybe when you give them some recommendations, you show them like, for example, in the gifts, you show different size of models so that they relate to the people that they are seeing. So these small touches in your campaigns usually do play a very big difference.
In a common way of how e-commerce business is built, let's say start out small, build on marketplaces, go on direct to consumer, expand into expand into countries, and then go offline, right? In this entire game, there is that one common aspect of communicating to your users, right? So when it comes to that, right, everybody needs to think of a customer journey end to end, right? And keep them, from one phase to another phase, especially in the way they're communicating or engaging with your brand. So I would love to touch upon each of these stages, right? When it comes to, okay, let's start with maybe somebody who bought from you, right? First time buyer. How do you engage them, right? How do you convert them to a repeat buyer through SMS? Let's start with that and let's take it forward.
Yeah, actually, the post purchase is probably the coolest, if you ask me. But yeah, again, like it's very important here you synchronize it with your other strategies, like email. Like you should make sure that you're not sending the same things at the same time, because otherwise it's boring. Like make things work in your favor. If somebody is not opening your email, or they're not engaging with your SMS, follow up with other channel. But like even just thinking about SMS in that case, like of course when somebody like buys something, you wanna encourage them to like maybe be excited about their purchase. You can offer something else, but I would usually go with more like just making them excited, and maybe following up in a few days, giving them some update about their orders. The first thing that I love doing is basically when you know that their order is going to get this day, send them some shipping updates, and also that they actually see the the importance of SMS, because like we all know that how much we love when we get an SMS that something is coming and then you're, going out and waiting for your order. So it's pretty cool. But after that, the thing that I like the most is when they get the order, it's some time passes. What you can do is actually start asking them these questions. So basically make a survey through your SMS, understand like how much your customers love the product. Based on that, for example, the people that didn't love it, maybe you wanna ask what they need. Maybe you can give them some other recommendations that better fit their needs. For example, if you're selling some hair product or skincare, maybe they just didn't pick the right one for them. So maybe you want to assist them so that doesn't happen again. For the ones they loved it, like you can, give them some discount and maybe follow up in a few more days or maybe a few weeks to remind them about this and just encourage them to buy again because they want the same, great feeling of loving the product again. So just, following up nicely, but in a smart way so that you understand where your customers are coming from. Like, are they loving it? Are they maybe not so impressed by it? How do you make them love it? So yeah, this type of thinking.
Uh, so you also track NPS in order all of this. Like you like is somebody so happy with your SMSs or neutral? Like, where does that happen? Like after you send maybe like 2-3 SMSs after the
So yeah, usually it will be after a few messages. So basically, they were getting some messages while they were expecting the order. And of course, you're going to text them like, enjoy your order, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe in, I don't know, a week, 10 days, depends on the product a lot. 'Cause if it's clothes, you can just ask them, 5 days later and they already know if they like it. But yeah, by then you can just ask them with questions, and then just reply it with a word, love or, hate or whatever. I mean, or so can be another word.
Awesome. Thanks so much for covering the first time to repeat purchase. Now this is where the tough part starts, right? Like, if somebody gets to this stage as an e-commerce brand, you can say that they have achieved some sort of bottom line. They're making some profit with their orders because they've started their acquisition, they've started their first time purchase, they started their repeat. Now is the stage where rarest of e-commerce brands really take off because now is the question of loyalty. Because there might be a number of products, but people need to be loyal to you. People need to be ambassadors of you, right? People need to be affiliates primarily, right? Who are existing customers who are becoming affiliates and growing your community and your business line. And this obviously takes a very holistic effort. But what are some of the things that you have seen people do to achieve this level of loyalty from SMSs?
So one thing is for sure like sending regular campaigns that you make sure are engaging. So that's the way. Like once people start like generally know that you're gonna send nice content, they're gonna open it, and at some point, when they need it, they're gonna buy again. And especially if you use this personalized approach, using the data that you already know about them, and not spamming them with too much information, but at the right times that they might want to get it. So maybe in the first month, you first like send some just informative things about how they can benefit more from their products, like maybe some things that they didn't know. You can even send them to some other pages, to your blog, to your Instagram account, where you're sharing, to your TikTok or whatever. Like it's,
Oh, this is fine doing. This is fine doing from an SMS angle.
yeah, you can send them everywhere. Like it's your own channel, so you can do anything. Yeah. And after that, maybe in a few days, like, after, for example, because we all know how much everybody loves TikTok. So, for example, if you're selling skincare products and you have a lot of information on TikTok, you send them there, you show them some things that they might need. Maybe in a few days, you follow up with, okay, why don't you add this step to your routine? We know that you have this type of skin, and probably maybe it's a dry skin and you're in both, hydrating cream, but actually if you want but hyaluronic acid is actually going to be better, and you just continue with valuable content for them. Also, like under channel is like win back flow, because this goes to like people who bought once but haven't engaged with the brand in any way. You've been trying with campaigns, so basically it's your last chance. Maybe in 90 days or 120 days, just try to engage them. Of course, you lower your prices. You try to understand what made them stop replying to you in the first place. And like, this is the last chance. And usually, if people don't engage with SMS, at the end of the day, you prefer that they're not in your like community, because SMS is more expensive. You pay per cent, so you better just engage with the people who want to engage with it. So you give it a chance. Like, of course, you do everything you can to save them, but maybe SMS is just not their channel. You cannot judge them about that. They can stay over email, as you said. Like, it's a very omnichannel approach.
Yeah. I mean, do everything, but be where the concentration of customers are.
Yeah, quality is very important for SOS. That's why it's important. People know what they're subscribing for, because you pay for every person who gets the message. So you don't want to pay for people that don't have the potential to buy from you.
People get a lot of SMSs, but what makes somebody stand out from all of those? Like, is it the conversations? Is it the personalizations? What are some of the things?
It is usually the personalization, in my opinion. And of course, you should have a unified message through your channels. It's pretty important. That's why it's good that your emails sound the same way, your social media sounds the same way, your ads. So basically, when people see how a message is written, they already know it from you. But it's also like very important that the message is short, straight to the point, but also like gives them all the information. That's where the copywriting comes into a place, like knowing how somebody can say something in 160 characters. That's actually a very tricky part, even for an experienced copywriter, if you ask me.
That's better than people who tweet also.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. And like, I think the next stage is somebody who writes push notifications. That's all I can think of right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So getting people in the community, like, is an important thing as well. And also when people go offline, right? This is where I think a magic of an SMS can come. Personalized to not just your needs, but personalized to your location and the vibe in the community around you, and the products that is so available around you, and the events that obviously people do. Have you seen people being very localized with their SMS as well?
Yeah, you should, because of course, if you're sending in a non like English native country, like, it doesn't make sense to send it in English. And we have clients that start exploring different markets like Germany, Spain. We do have clients like that. It's of course harder to navigate, because, for example, when you write a message in German, like, it gets over 160 characters very easily. So it's harder to navigate, but it's very important that when you send a message to somebody, it feels like that it goes from the same place. And it's also, as you said, like events and stuff like that. It is great to use SMS to be up to date. Basically, or whenever, the great thing about SMS is that whenever something happens, like, you can react super quickly about that, and you can already send the campaign the same day. And if there is an event in that country, like, why not mention it? Like, it just adds up to your authority, like, brand, that you actually know that they're from there. You want to, appreciate their events or culture or whatever happens.
Iveta, does sending time matter when it comes to running an SMS?
It does. It's good to know when your audience, will react. Usually, like, as long as it's not super late, like, it's gonna be good, and it's not super early, of course, because you have like hours you cannot send, because of compliance as well. But yeah, it does matter, because of course, as people, we stay at like on our phones more often, in the morning, lunchtime, after we go back from home to like from work to home. And well, unless maybe you are a person who works from home and you're just on your phone way too often. But that's also depends a lot on the brand, and testing it out and see where your customers engage the most. But as with email, like, of course, it's going to change a few things if you set it at the better time. And it's very important for events like Black Friday as well. Just like planning like more unique times where that's not everybody is going to schedule with us. For example, not 9 a.m. Maybe you want to send it at 9:35 or 33, or
Yeah, I mean, like, everybody does that, so I'm just gonna like give my own
Yeah.
attention. That's a good one. Yeah, it's very nice that you're thinking so innovative but so simple. All this while, that's what I've been hearing. That's the perception that I'm getting here. So, I mean, this has opened up my mind, and I hope people who are listening to this, folks, SMS is not boring at all. As Iveta pointed out, it's pretty cool because, yeah, it's so short, it's so easy for you to connect with people. Within a span of maybe, a minute, you can like enable somebody to buy, and that's a great power to have when it comes to a channel. Do your personalization, segment your customers, provide, don't spam them, and make sure that you understand them pretty closely every day to know where they're getting it. Evita, so just a ballpark figure here, number of brands you come across. How many people are running SMS and are not running SMS? And is there any blockage when it comes to adopting SMS?
Yeah, it's not about like I think out of our clients, probably I would say around 40% maybe around SMS. There's still a lot of misconceptions about SMS. That's what I was trying like for a while. I was breaking the stigma around it because people just think like, oh, that's SMS. It's first of all, it's super like so easy. I can just do it on my own, which is like, of course, at the beginning that's the case, but at some point you want to have proper attention to it so that you just add on it. And also, like, people are like, oh, that's a spammy channel. Like, there is just still a lot of this, like, thoughts that it's just not so good to have. And people are missing out on like 10-15% of their revenue, which is quite insane. Uh,
That is crazy, and especially from those people who buy from them a lot. Uh,
yeah.
I mean, that's stupid to me. Let me put it there. And it's like, guys, you need to change this, because come on, you gotta build a sustainable business. You gotta build a business where there's more positive EBITDA, right? Like you can't go negative unless you have a lot of funding. But even if you have funding, don't you want to make money, right? Uh, so leverage SMS. Please reach out to Iveta from Hustler Marketing. She can guide you everything around it. Keep it conversational. I think that's what I'm getting uh, uh, today, like talking to you. And I hope people are listening to this are aware of the fact that the more conversational you get with your customers, the more personalized you get, the more localized you get, just better for you when it comes to drawing your revenue. Thank you so much, Avita, for coming today. This has been an eye opener and a fun session around SMS marketing. So, folks, go ahead, uh, go back, go back to your drawing board and change your game and make SMS the king also, along with email. That's the future. If you don't hop on now, you'll never hop on, and you'll be stayed left behind. So, Evita, any last words before we wrap up?
I think you summarized it so well. I think I'm just going to leave it here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Have fun. Have a great night, evening, wherever you're in the world. And from next week on, you're going SMS. Okay, just do that.